I got a rusted old fire pit in the backyard. I was just going to throw it out, but I thought the base might actually make a cool table. What is the best type of walnut? Free walnut, which is exactly what this is. It's always so impressive at the difference after it's planed. I think it's going to be a really beautiful piece. I've got 4 boards. Didn't have enough of the walnut, so I'm adding a piece of maple. So walnut, walnut, maple, walnut. You don't need a ton of glue for a good glue joint. Come out tomorrow and see how we did. And I've got a couple of gaps I didn't see during the glue up, and a chip out and some holes. So I knew this was going to be rustic, but I was hoping for a better glue up than this. Now, that's my fault. I didn't see that. So I will, once this thing is leveled, I'm going to mix up some resin and fill in all these areas. You know what? Actually, first I'm going to cut the circle, and then I'm going to mix up the resin and fill in all the areas. What's my favorite part about leveling a panel by hand? Being done with it. So the top still needs a little bit of work, but I think the next step is to get it into round. And I'm going to favor this end here. So this will be off center. I think like this. You can see its underside is not as pretty as its top side. Well, clearly this is why the bottom was chosen and the top was chosen. Okay, so after a couple of misstarts here, the center that I want is right here. That will give me a 34-inch circle. And what I use for my bearing is not a nail, but an old shelf support. That is 13/64 for whatever reason. And all I'm going to do is drill down to a pre-marked depth, and this tape flag will help me realize when I've reached it. And if you look at my super fancy circle cutting jig, you'll see just a board, and it's got different places for different bearing holes. Should work just fine. All I'm going to do is put the board on top, locate the hole, turn on the saw, spin the whole thing around. Couldn't be simpler. Shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that. And just like that, we've got a round tabletop. And let's all be completely honest, that went a lot smoother than any of us thought it was going to. So I'm just going to mix up a little 5-minute epoxy here. But I want it to have some color to it. Dye powders that were sent to me by a viewer of the show named Ian Thomas. And you've seen me use the UV tracer before, but today I'm going to use black metal. I think that'll look cool. The other one here is carbon black, But I think this will have some shimmer to it. Let's see. Yeah, that's got some cool shimmer. You know what, come to think of it, I don't think I want the shimmer. No shimmer. We're gonna go for the carbon black instead. Don't think I need much. And I'm gonna add it right to my resin mixture. It's just these 3 little spots. But it wouldn't feel right doing a project that didn't have epoxy in it. It seems to be my thing these days. While that is drying, let's talk about the base. So what I first did is I took a wire brush and cleaned up all the edges. I've got some rust here, but folks down at the hardware store says this is a good aluminum paint. This is why you don't paint in flip-flops. Isn't that a lovely shade? What do you think? I'm keeping it. Alright, so as soon as this is done, I will flip it over, paint the other side. I've got some high spots. I've also got some chip out, some planer marks, but that works for me, if I'm honest. It's not just me being lazy. Maybe a combination of both. But this wood came from a firewood pile, so I want it to be sort of rustic, and it's got this, you know, this edge that's got some rot on it. I've got these knots, and even the maple that I paid for has mineral streaking in it, so I like it. I'm gonna leave it right here like this. And the only thing I'm gonna do to finish it is 3 or 4 coats of wipe-on polyurethane. That'll probably get 2 more coats, I would imagine. So. And this dries in about 2 or 3 hours. I'll probably get this finished up today. We have to consider that the top is solid wood and will expand and contract with the weather. So we need to allow for that to happen. The easiest way I know how to prevent that is simply by using elongated screw holes. So this is my patio room. It is just a laid-back place. A couple of old couches. There's a dartboard behind you. I can see the shop from here. It's not my formal living room. It's just a place to chill, read a book, sometimes watch the rain. So this actually works out perfectly for me here. Besides the walnut being free, the base was, you know, going to be thrown away. I was going to pitch it. So the only thing that I really spent money for is the maple. So yeah, it's a good project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. He's not a barbarian.